The Imperium told us the Emperor protects. They told us loyalty brings safety, that faith builds walls no enemy can break. But when chaos came, walls crumbled, prayers went unanswered, and hope died. What does it feel like to be hunted by Chaos Space Marines? It feels like waking up in a nightmare that never ends. It feels like knowing that you are nothing but prey. At first, the changes were subtle. A red haze at the horizon, the sun dimming early, its light stretched thin like old parchment. Animals grew restless, crops wilted. Machines that had run for centuries began to sputter. No one admitted it out loud, but we all felt it. Something unseen pressed on our chests, as if the air itself had grown heavy with dread. Children woke screaming in the night, whispering about shadows whispering back. Workers refused to enter certain buildings, saying the walls bled when no one watched. Priests preached harder, sweat dripping down their faces, voices cracking with desperation. They shouted that it was a test of faith, but their eyes betrayed the truth. Even they were afraid. Then the cultists revealed themselves. They had always been there. Men and women we had traded with, laughed with, sat beside in taverns. One day they were only neighbors. The next, they were killers. They scrawled 8-pointed stars across doorways, painted symbols in blood on market stones, carried torches in the night. Entire districts were silenced overnight. Families gone, streets empty. Only the graffiti remained. Sigils that pulsed faintly, as if alive. The city guard fought. They tried. But their weapons jammed, their radios went dead, their courage faltered. It was as if the very world betrayed them. And then we heard the thunder, not from the sky, from the earth. Heavy metallic footsteps approaching, something beyond human. The day they came will never leave me. Towering shapes emerging through the smoke, their armor blackened and jagged, adorned with spikes, horns, chains, skulls. Each one a walking fortress, each one a nightmare given form. Chaos Space Marines. Once they were legends of the Emperor. Now they were devils of iron and flesh. They did not run. They did not rush. They advanced with the certainty of predators. Bolters roared, spitting explosive shells that tore men apart in showers of gore. Chainswords screamed as they bit into walls, into bodies, into anything that dared stand. Their laughter, vox distorted, metallic, cruel, echoed across the burning streets. I saw one Marine punch through a building's wall, dragging a child from hiding by one arm. The mother screamed, begged, clawed at him. He tossed her aside like trash and crushed the child's skull between armored fingers. To them, we were not enemies. We were vermin. This was no war. This was sport. They didn't conquer. They stalked. They let us run so they could chase. Every street, every alley became a trap. Every corner hid death. Families fled into shadows, clutching each other, praying not to be seen. But their helmets scanned everything. Their senses pierced walls. Their ears caught every sob. Priests locked their flocks inside cathedrals. The Marines tore those cathedrals apart. Stained glass shattered under bolter fire. Altars split in half. Prayers turned to screams. I remember one priest still chanting as they split him down the middle. His voice never faltered until the very end. And then there was only silence. Those who escaped into forests or mountains found no safety. The Marines followed, relentless. One by one, they dragged survivors back in chains. Some were sacrificed in rituals. Others were kept alive. Trophies for games, testaments to cruelty. You never knew which fate awaited you, only that both ended in suffering. They were not content with death. They wanted fear. They wanted despair. I saw entire blocks herded together, forced to run, as Marines hunted them for sport. They laughed as they fired slowly, choosing limbs before hearts. I saw fathers made to watch their families burned alive, only to be granted a few more seconds of life before the same fire consumed them. And it was not just the body they destroyed. They defiled the dead. Skulls stacked into pyramids, skin stretched into banners, corpses arranged into grotesque symbols visible from the skies. Even the flies seemed to serve them, swarming in patterns that spelled prayers to their dark gods. One Marine carried a horned helmet decorated with tongues. I do not know if they were human or not. I did not want to know. Another wore a cloak stitched from faces. They paraded horror as if it were victory. To them, cruelty was worship. I remember survivors, a mother clutching her child, whispering lullabies while hiding in the dark, a soldier writing his last letter on scraps of paper, knowing no one would ever read it, a child asking if the angels would come to save us. What do you tell a child when you know the angels are gone? That the only ones who walk among us now are devils. Even the traitors, those who joined chaos, left their voices. I heard one boast that serving the dark gods was freedom. He smiled as he slit the throats of bound prisoners, promising them they too would find eternity in torment. His words still haunt me, not because of what he said, but because of how much he believed it. And still, some fought. The Planetary Defense Force, ragged militias, even street gangs, with little more than knives. They stood against gods in armor, knowing they could not win. Laser gun fire sparked harmlessly against ceramite plates. Chainswords carved through entire squads. Yet still they fought. Every second they bought meant another civilian might live a moment longer. I saw a group of students with homemade explosives. They ambushed a Marine in an alley. The blast tore half the street apart. And yet, when the smoke cleared, he rose, armor scorched but unbroken. He killed them slowly, one by one, for daring to resist. And yet in those moments, they showed something no Chaos Marine will ever understand. Courage, humanity. Priests carried relics, holding them high as bolters roared. Families armed themselves with kitchen knives. Even children threw rocks, screaming defiance. It was hopeless. But in hopelessness, there is purity. And for a fleeting second, even gods in armor seemed to hesitate before the fire of human will. Weeks passed. The city died. Fires burned without end. The air stank of ash, rot, and oil. The skies turned crimson as if mocking us. The ground was slick with blood. The streets echoed with screams that never stopped. The living envied the dead. We fled underground, into sewers, into caves. But even there they followed. Their boots echoed on stone, their laughter reverberated in the dark. They did not hurry. They knew we could not escape. They savored our fear. Every breath we took was already theirs. At night, the dreams came. Whispers promising power, shadows crawling beneath our skin. Some survivors awoke laughing, eyes black, voices not their own. They joined the cultists willingly, betraying their own kin. Chaos does not just kill the body, it devours the soul. By the end, there was nothing left to hope for. Orbit was lost. Stars turned red, hidden by vast ships that blotted out the heavens. The guard never came. The Emperor was silent. We were abandoned, forgotten, extinguished. Some walked into the streets willingly, offering themselves to the blade rather than the terror. Others clung to life until the very end, screaming for salvation that never came. And through it all, the Marines laughed. They laughed because to them, we were never people. We were always prey. So if you ask me what it feels like to be hunted by Chaos Space Marines, know this. It is not war. It is not battle. It is not survival. It is annihilation. It is waking each day knowing you will not see the next. It is running until your legs fail, hiding until the shadows betray you, praying until your throat bleeds, only to learn prayers mean nothing. To chaos, you are not a soldier. You are not a foe. You are not even human. You are prey, and prey does not survive. This is the fate of civilians in the Imperium of Man. This is the truth of life in the age of chaos.
All hail the Dark Gods.